0191 488 3188.
This is Night Owls.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Hello, everybody, again. And if you are watching, my sincere thanks to YouTubers and Facebookers and wherever the hell you come from. But do make sure you let me know. Then we'll give you a shout out. So many messages. We've had some on screen. For the rest of you, though, Kelly Fair, brown bits on my ring. Tra-la-la-la-la. Could have lived without that image. Andrew Scott says, the thing that grinds his gears, people who ignore rules made to protect us all. David Birdsey suggests for our toilet song, True Poo by Madonna. Sue Hope, Water Poo by ABBA. Isabel Ferguson basically suggests, who she looks like a supermodel, incidentally, Don't Go Breaking My Fart. Oh dear. Shell Slater tells me that the Butchers is a Butchers. Well, I kind of knew that. Did they sell smoked produce? Why would people be queuing for a butcher? It just seemed an odd thing. Anyway, Patricia Henderson. Ooh, I love your shirt and hat, Alan. Well, thank you very much. I'm in a kind of a Mediterranean or maybe even Caribbean mood. Also, Lois Atkinson says, because of my Crohn's disease, my song would have to be Never Ending Story. And the thing that grinds her gears, the other half is still breathing. And she's annoyed by it. Glenn Hunter Fitzgerald, it says, Barnard Castle, totally rammed by people. Social distancing doesn't seem to be apparent at all. Mark Smith, the schools are opening on Tuesday. How do you tell kids to social distance? They'll be playing football and it's gone, isn't it? Valerie McDonald, The Wind Beneath My Bum is her toilet song. And also Things That Grind Your Gears. Christine Locke says, people in the street, whether it's charity or whether it's energy companies, grrr, get out of my face. That's what she said. I've been jotting them down as fast as I possibly could, but keep them coming. Lots of toilet songs and lots of things that grind your gears. And just quickly, Aileen says, 3 weeks ago we had VE Day and we saw parties and lots of social gatherings, no social distancing. Today we see the repercussions of this, an increase in the death rate as a result, and probably a further increase to come. Please remind listeners to abide by the rules and help save lives. The government are doing their best with the information to hand. Well, we're told, according to government figures, that the numbers are still reducing, but any numbers too many, isn't it? That's the way we look at it. Anyway, let's crack on. We have Glenn, and I think it's the Glenn who told us that Barnard Castle was rammed, from Barnard Castle, from Barney. Hello, Glenn.
Hi, Alan. Are you all right?
I'm good. Tell me everything about Barney then. I mean, you mentioned a place called Cummings something or other.
Cummingsgate.
Cummingsgate. Everybody's visiting Barnard Castle because they heard he'd visited it. I gather you've got a few signs up as well saying Dominic Cummings was here and all that, Claude.
There is. We've got the blue plaques, like the blue plaque trail.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much good it's doing, to be honest with you.
But I mean, but the fact that he went, is that the reason why you think it's rammed, or do you think it's just hot weather and people are going to go there anyway?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, Alan.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm not bothered one way or the other if he's been, to
Right.
be honest with you. Personally, I couldn't give a monkey.
But
Maybe he's wrong.
how open is Barnard Castle? Because I'm presuming, like a lot of the smaller towns, there's not going to be a whole lot open there during the day. Restaurants and cafes aren't open.
There's not much open, and I'm a barman. I work up at Middleton
Right.
in a bar. So, I mean, I'm furloughed, I'm out of work, but we've got all these tourists coming. The irony is we can't serve them. We've got nothing to offer them.
Right.
But, I mean, maybe he did wrong, maybe he didn't. I'm not really bothered one way or the other with him coming to Barnard Castle. My problem, what my issue was, we had Sky News, we had ITV News, every news channel, herds of them taking over the town, stopping everybody on the street. I mean, there was no social distancing.
No.
And the problem for us is it's put us on the map now. And if you look at Durham Constabulary had to put a tweet out saying, please stop coming. 200-car traffic jam yesterday up at Middleton Teesdale. Everybody queuing to get to High Force. They're all coming now, but it's it's not the time to come, really, is it?
Well, yeah. Any
I don't know what
any
you-
benefit you would have got, you need your cafes open, you need your pubs, you need your shops and stores, all of
I'd
that.
rather they come after the 4th of July when the pubs are open.
Yeah. Blame me. How do you think that's going to?
What do you make of it? Are you personally? Are you upset by it?
Yeah, of course. Well, everybody is. And first of all, as soon as the sun comes out, I feel the same way that everybody else is. I want to go somewhere. And then you think, but if I go somewhere, can I buy a drink? No. Can you get a meal?
The
No.
air ambulance. There's no parking. We've had a motorbike crash tonight. We've had a crash last night.
Right.
We've had to put a statement saying 200 car traffic jam.
Cheapers.
And they're coming from nowhere. And, I mean, they're coming from south and everything. It's not just locals coming for a day out.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, every time that somebody's filmed in Barnard Castle, they're seeing not just the person, but they're seeing Barnard Castle, and
I know, but
they've shown a lot of the town and the outskirts of the town and some of the historical places you can go. It doesn't surprise me that it's worked like that.
We always say shh with a hidden secret. We don't want nobody to know we're here. Nobody knows.
I know. I remember years ago, Brendan Healy was on one of the TV shows I was doing, and he said he goes down to London and he keeps seeing in bush shelters posters saying, "Come to Yorkshire, come to Northumberland, come to Durham." And he says if he possibly can, he tries to rip the posters out because he doesn't want Southern Jessies coming north to look at our glories. He wants to keep it for ourselves, and I absolutely understand what he meant, because I kind of feel that it's ours and it should be for us and for nobody else. I get where you're coming from. Anything else, Glenn, while you're on then, mate?
No, it was just to say really that it certainly made its mark, but I think it was more the media.
Yeah.
Yes, and the amount of them that came. And, I mean, they showed no distance, and they couldn't get people to talk to them.
Yeah.
So they were coming knocking on doors asking people. But I mean, it
Yeah.
was Barnard Castle Fair last week. It was supposed to be our big carnival weekend.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we still had it. We did it all via YouTube and the internet, what you can do online now. And we had a virtual 3-day carnival. And we had singers, we had 3 days of singers, we still had the carnival parade. And what they did, they had the camera crew go around, film everybody outside the house in the fancy dress.
Oh, bless. That's
And
wonderful.
it was the real community spirit. And,
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to talk about that on the news. But
Yeah.
the news weren't interested. They just wanted to really slate Dominic Cummings.
Yeah, they just
Whereas
used that
like
as
with-
that as a one-liner to say they
Which
had
you
their
can
fair.
understand him,
Yeah.
but it's just a shame, really, that it happened when it happened, rather than
Yeah.
closer to when people could be out. Because,
Yeah. No, I
like
get
you
it.
said, the pubs are shut, the ice cream shops are shut, the cafes are shut. I don't really know what they're coming for, because there's nothing really here for them.
Well, not at the moment, but again, hopefully when everything opens up, people will remember and say, "Oh, we never did get a chance to see that properly," and hopefully
Well, yeah,
hopefully,
like I
hopefully
say,
they'll
I'm
bounce
a
back.
barman, so we rely on tourism. I rely on tourism.
Absolutely, no, I get it.
Job. So we're not trying to say stay away, but I just don't understand why they're coming at the moment.
No, I get you. And let's hope when they come back, they go up to Middleton as well and get a pint or two from you.
Yeah, come up to the Foresters, and
There you go.
I'll get them a drink and serve them some food.
Brilliant. Glenn, thank you very
Anyway,
much, man.
Alan, take care.
And you, boy, stay well. Getting some more toilet songs, but Will in Durham says, Alan, what's your view on the COVID-19 track and trace? Apparently, it's not worth the code it's programmed with. I don't know enough about it. Will, what's your view on it? Love to find out. And Mark, nice to hear you on this fine spring summer day. What do you think of the easing of lockdown, despite what the scientists have warned us about it being too early? Me, I just think we cannot live in lockdown forever. I switch the news off as soon as it starts now. All I want to hear is that pubs and clubs are back open. That's all I'm bothered about. That's all he's bothered about. William, songs for the toilet. After a curry, it's the final countdown. After chili, it's the Ring of Fire. And after the squits, it's You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Thank you. And good night. Let's have somebody else. Gavin is up that Geet Big Bank in Wickham. Hello, Gavin.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. What you got for me tonight?
I was going to say hurrah out there in the dog, but it's still light.
It is pretty much. Anyway, what you got for me, mate?
So this football takeover, right?
Oi, right.
Is it happening? Isn't it happening? I don't know. Like, well, yeah, so many different stories. Apparently it's been signed and it's going through. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, well, you know,
what's taking so long?
What's taking so long? But we've heard this all before with Amanda Staveley and this one and that one.
Now, but apparently the new thing is, according to some guy at the Premier League, and it's up to them now just to sign it off, apparently, somebody at the Premier League has had a complaint put into the Premier League that the Sheikh, who is the son of the actual sheikh, but there's loads of sheikhs, and all of the sons are sheikhs, and the son sheikh who's apparently bought the club, the same one who allegedly was involved with the death of Khashoggi.
I was just going to say that as well, the controversy of all this.
Well, that's just controversy number one, but apparently he's been allowing some network that he has control of to screen football matches without having to pay for
them. A legal
them.
TV channel.
That's what we're hearing. Now, I don't know whether he can get round it, buy his way around it, persuade them round it, but it's the last thing a Newcastle fan wanted to hear, because he just wants to hear that the other guy's gone, that there's a new broom sweeping clean, and that Newcastle's going to get a decent team to follow. That's what they want.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if this really does go through, he's got 260 billion pounds in the bank, sterling apparently.
Yeah.
So money talks and money walks.
Absolutely.
I mean, and if the Premier League can't hang on a minute, this is going to be probably the richest club in the world. Well, I can't see any. How should I put it? I can't see any kind of point in... Well, I can't see a point of us doing it in business sense, but you've got to look at the political sense and going, well, hang on a minute, if this really is to happen, you know, with the Khashoggi, and it has to be proven.
Yeah, but this is the thing, you see. Nothing was ultimately proven about the Khashoggi thing. Yeah. So if the Premier League can overlook any potential links with that, overlooking an illegal TV channel somewhere down the line, you would have thought, brush that one under the carpet, take the money, crack on.
I mean, it's like years ago, I mean, everyone oh, I'm looking for a link on Facebook, anywhere, a link for the match. Everybody watches illegal sport, of course. If you don't pay, you know, if you're not going to pay, you don't have to pay for it, then you're going to watch it for free. Of course you are. You know, benign sports, and I'm not going to mention...
I can't... I was once told by somebody in our newsroom, this is a few years ago, what, you pay to watch football matches? And I said, yeah. And he says, you fool. And then he gave me this list of something. It was a pre-printed list.
Yeah.
And it had like 140 places that you could go to watch any game anywhere in the world at any time. And I'm thinking, and all these are free. He says, well, they're illegal, but they're free. And now, if people take that kind of stuff for granted... or should the Premiership not clamp down on stuff like that and say, yeah, well, we know this kind of stuff happens, but we can't let it go. We're going to fine you 300 grand. I mean, to somebody like the Sheikh, that's going to be chump change, isn't it?
I remember chit-chat about this years ago when I was at work. I'm not going to say where, but it was, I was down with uncles in Peterborough years ago, and it was New Year's Day and there was a match on. And we were looking on the laptop going, where can I watch the match, blah, blah. So my uncle says, I'll type this in. And bang, there was a link. No problem. He says, well, I'm not paying £20 to Sky. Yeah. He says, you got it there for free. I says, well, yeah, okay.
I was talking to a guy in Ireland when we were there doing some shows. And every night there was a football match on the big telly in the back room for the football fans to just disappear in there. Yeah. And I said, must cost you a fortune putting all these games on. He says, we don't pay. Yeah. And he was doing exactly the same thing. So, but it must be incredibly that common. And if it's that common, it should be clamped down on, though, shouldn't it?
Of course. I actually agree. I mean, obviously, somewhere down the line, they should. Obviously, people are paying for, Sky TV or et cetera, et cetera. And, they should clamp down. But at the end of the day, I mean, if it's on the net and you know where to go and you're going to get it for free, why are you going to pay for it?
It's,
you know what I mean?
Human nature, I suppose.
Of course it is, yeah.
Human nature, man. But what do you think's going to happen then? Do you reckon it'll be seen through or what?
The free... I'm saying Freeview. The kind of Freeview side of it, no. I mean, they can clamp down as much as they want, but you'll always get a link somewhere where it'll be broadcast. It's like the Wembley matches, rugby, boxing, any kind of sport. You'll always get something for free, of course, definitely.
About the takeover, the only thing that worries me so far is that last week they were saying, we're just waiting for the Premier League just to give us a tick in the box, and then off we go. And we're going to buy Edison Cavani, who's one of the best centre-forwards in the world, and we're looking at this one and that one. And a lot of the players that Man United were looking at in Man City, we're looking at these players now. This week, it's, there's a problem. The Sheikh's been involved with this dodgy channel. And Newcastle now looking at a forward from Lille that nobody's heard of. That worried me just a little bit because Newcastle's been down that road. Do you remember they just went to France with a fishing net and just kind of threw it? Give us French players. And fortunately, there was a couple of them that were all right, but the vast majority went to Germany. But you're quite right, we've been down the road before. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about then, Gavin?
Yes, coronavirus.
Go for it.
So we've got the pros and cons of coronavirus, right? Obviously the cons are a lot of negative stuff. People have died. Sure. It's obviously caused havoc with our lives worldwide, not just in one country. Absolutely. The pros of this I've seen as well. Do you know basically the environment? Clearer skies, nice weather, which we're having, obviously. Sure. Less pollution. But what I've seen in my workplace is people eating more fruit, veg. They're changing their diet. They're drinking more water. People are going out cycling. I've seen people running more who I wouldn't even see running, to be honest with you, like friends and stuff. Yeah. You going for a run? You've never done that. I was just bored. So it has changed people's lives.
Do you think it's also brought communities together that were were split in half over Brexit prior to this? You remember there was a lot of angst out there where I hate you and you want to leave and I want to stay and all this kind of stuff going on. So it healed a lot of that, I think. Yeah.
I think it has, honestly. And I think it has changed people's lives for, I would say the better, to be honest with you. I've seen people who are constantly on, for example, getting takeaways all the time, not really eating well. And now they're going, fried salmon and I like me salad now and me vegetables and stuff. And I'm thinking...
Do you not think, though, that if everybody then goes back to work, it'll be... God, the chippy at lunchtime. I mean, will it not be... They've only eaten better because all the takeaways have been shut.
Yeah, here's a good one for you. Nobody can beat a Greggs at all, right? Obviously, I've got a Greggs in mine because it's quite a large Greggs.
It's a sacred place.
It's shut at the minute. But I can see people going, do you know what? I don't fancy Greggs. I'll bring in my own little lunchbox kind of thing.
We're going back to bait.
Yeah, going back to basics, basically. I've got fried salmon in there, a bit of salad. And, really? You get a Greggs at lunchtime? No, I've got my own fried salmon and salad and etc., etc.
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument for it, but you're quite right. And nature seems to have come out where as soon as people aren't there and roads are quieter, and that's the reason why I've seen so many dead things. There's more dead things at the side of the road than I've ever seen in my life. I've seen more deer. And the other day, they're orange-looking critters, but they're stoats. I saw a stoat run across the road. I can't remember the last time I saw a stoat.
Seeing that, you've mentioned deer. It was on Facebook about 3-4 weeks ago.
Oh, the guy in the big market in Newcastle.
Yeah, the CCTV camera coming at 4 o'clock in the morning or something. You're thinking, a deer in the big market at 4 o'clock in the morning? That would never happen. But you're right. What
as soon as the people aren't there, absolutely, the nature tries to take over. Hey, good catching up with you, Gavin. Thank you for coming on, man. Good talking.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Let's just hope that deal goes through finally, one way or another.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Somebody's commented on that as well. Tony says, the Premier League are on thin ice if they object on moral grounds to the takeover. They make millions in profits, and almost every club is using the furlough scheme to pay staff. There you go. He's also put on his toilet song. If every song in the world was about your toilet habits, I've just learned his. It's based on a Bob Marley song, Three Little Turds. There you go. Thank you for that. It was as bad as I thought it would be, Tony. And Omar from Hebburn. I haven't talked to him for yonks. Hi, Omar.
Hi, Alan. Yeah, it has been yonks, hasn't it?
It has. Welcome back. Anyway, what you got for me?
Two things, actually. Toilet songs. When I first was diagnosed with IBS, there was one song that always stuck in my head. Elvis Presley's "A Little Less Conversation, a Little More Action."
Right. Okay. Sit by the netty door. Absolutely right.
Anyway, yeah, I was trying to get on last week to talk to you about this alien thing.
All right. Yes.
So I've actually been doing quite a bit of looking into this, and there's a couple of guys on YouTube that have put on videos explaining and potentially debunking a lot of the theories going around.
Right.
But there's the footage that was released by the US, declassified by the US government.
Yes.
Of the gun cameras from the FA-18 fighters.
Uh-huh.
The bit that they conveniently leave out is they show you a clip that's maybe a minute and a half.
Right.
Of the gun camera on the plane tracking this object.
Uh-huh.
And it's the classic kind of tic-tac shaped, like mint object, just flying nice and straight and then jinking and moving all over the place very suddenly. What they don't show you is the rest of the footage, when the pilots themselves start telling each other what it is they're actually looking at.
Right.
That's conveniently cut out. The other thing they don't tell you, and I've been watching some of the news reports and it's coming from the States, and it's absolutely incredibly how ignorant some of these people are trying to make out their audience are, is that they don't tell you how infrared cameras work.
Right.
But
first of all, with the first point, Umar, if you don't mind, when you're showing footage on either television or whatever medium, you're never going to show 20 minutes. You're going to show a minute of it. You're going to show a minute and a half. So realistically, they're going to try and give you the juice, aren't they?
But they give you exactly the minute that shows the best argument that they're making.
Right, but the rest of it debunks that, does it? And if so, how?
The rest of it, you actually hear the pilots laughing with each other about what the camera is actually tracking.
Right.
And to understand that, you kind of need to understand how IR cameras work.
Right.
I mean, everyone's seen like thermal imaging cameras before, like the movie Predator.
Sure.
The camera picks up the body heat and it displays it in the multicolors.
Gotcha.
It's the same kind of technology that aircraft use, but they're displaying it on a black and white screen. And because they're looking specifically for jet engines or the kind of heat trails coming off of a incoming missile or something like that so they can lock onto, they're looking at a very narrow range of the infrared spectrum.
Right.
So the best analogy I can think of is if you imagine you've got a camera where you can turn down the sensitivity of your camera.
Right.
So it's less sensitive to light. Well, all your pictures are going to come out dark.
Yes.
And only the very brightest thing is going to be shown on the camera.
Right, okay.
And then if you flip it the other way, if you turn the sensitivity all the way up, then everything's going to be all washed out and you can't see anything in the picture.
Right.
And the way those infrared cameras work is they can be adjusted to have narrow or broad spectrum.
Right.
Now, in the footage, you can see just the outline of almost a faint imaging of the clouds in the background in one of the videos. And in the other video, you see what looks like the sea underneath it as the objects flying past.
Right.
And in both instances, they're birds.
They're birds?
They're birds flying at a constant speed in a constant direction. What you don't see is the shape of a bird, because the whole bird's body isn't emitting heat. It's only the center part.
So you see a dot as opposed to a bird shape.
You see an oval shape. You don't see wings flapping because there's very little blood being pumped into the bird's wings compared to the rest of the body.
But on one of those shots, and again, forgive my ignorance with this, that bird was flying with the speed of a jet engine, wasn't it? I mean, how's that possible?
That's what the news will tell you. What they don't say is that the bird is so far away from the aircraft that when the camera is tracking, the camera is barely moving to track this bird in relation to the aircraft. It's the aircraft that's moving fast.
Right,
So
but if the bird was flying at a bird speed, and I'm guessing 20, 30, 40 mile an hour, and the aeroplane was traveling at 250 miles an hour, that plane would be past that bird in a second, wouldn't it?
Exactly. But the camera is mounted on a little ball-ended gimbal, so the camera can turn completely independently from the aircraft.
Right, but even so, if that aircraft's 25 mile ahead, it's not going to pick up anything.
It will. It really will. The optics on these are phenomenal. And these are military-grade optics designed for locking a missile at 200, 400, 600 miles away.
Because I thought the bit that I heard, and granted I only heard the minute, I'm sure, the guys were saying how fast it is, let's try and catch it, and then they caught it, and it was in the centre of the screen, and then they held it.
And then what you see is it suddenly shoot off the side of the frame.
Yes.
Well, that was the camera resetting itself. If you look really carefully in the footage, at the very top middle of the footage, you see the almost an image of the pilot's head-up display. You can see the angle the plane is at with the horizontal line, showing that the plane is in steady level flight. And at the very, very top of the screen, you can actually see the angle that the gun camera is at.
Right.
And you can see that it's changing the angle, the degree that it's moving at. You'll see I think it starts at -8 and then finishes at +12.
Right.
And at the very end of that track, the camera just glitches for a second.
Right.
And that could be a fraction of a millimetre movement. But at that distance, and when it's zoomed in that far, it just looks like the item is just moving off at rapid pace.
So there's a lot of debunking going on. Just have to move you on, Omar. Anything else while you're on, my friend?
No, that's it. I am taking care of a very pregnant stepdaughter who's been living with me for a couple of weeks.
Right.
She's due in August.
Oh, well,
And,
wish her well. Keep her safe, obviously, because she's prone to infection when you're that pregnant.
I've got to try and keep her away from the chip shop. That's why she moved in with me.
Right. Okay. Hey, stay well. Bless you, Omar. All the best, my friend.
And yourself, Alan. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. No names, no pack drill, please, says this letter. Being a police call handler, I can tell you that the general public of Teesdale have not enjoyed the mass influx of COVID breaches. Their noise, they're obstructing the road, they're leaving litter, and they're overnight camping. Thank you for telling me. I am not at all surprised. In line with your toilet theme, local farmers have the answer. Dump silage around the route in all the gathering spots. Love watching you live. Will it happen again on Wednesday? Peter, we're trying to find a way to make it happen because obviously that is free from any connections, if you know what I mean. But we're going to do our best to make something work in perpetuity. Got a lot. It's time for a little piece of music, and then we've got another break for you. We got some awful ideas. Somebody says, why should it just be the song? Why can't the artists be involved with the toilet thing? And they've come up with Billy Motions, Kate Flush, and anything by the Small Feces. Oh, dear. Please do better if you possibly can. And while we're waiting for that to happen, I'm going to have to lob something, something that's actually in keeping with the massive range of colours in my shirt tonight.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Big thank you to everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube and the various other places we are. And hello to everybody listening to Greatest Hits Radio. Now, cash register is kicking off. We have more money for you. And it all begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So make sure you join it. And, of course, we got a great team on our lineup at the present moment with Rossi on breakfast, Mark Goodyear, and then Andy Crane, Darren Proctor, Rick Horton, and then tomorrow night from 10 till midnight, Alex Lester with All Together Now, where there's the odd phone call and some grand music besides if you fancy joining in for that. We've got lots on this station to keep you occupied, but so many messages in. Julie Toop says, what grinds her gears? People chewing or crunching when she's watching TV or cinema. She says the red mist descends. And Lynn Henderson, she hates cyclists riding at ridiculous speeds on tracks, expecting you and your dog to move. She says, I refuse. It's my right of way. The Nissan Night Shift. I'm so thrilled and proud of you guys. They love Night Owls to listen to. Thank you very much. Mark Laker is with us on Firestick in Broughton, North Yorkshire. Legover Lass tells me that a pub was handing out drinks through a window today in Seaham. And Harry Marwick confirms that. He says, yeah, he's not been there regularly to it, but saw the pub thing today. Dorothy, I've got Blood Orange, yes, it's Dorothy Blood Orange, wishes happy birthday to Clint Eastwood for today, and an early one for Donny Osmond for December. Yeah, a bit random. And she loves my work. Well, this isn't work, this is a doddle. Darren McCarthy has a toilet song. It's Shh, Rattle and Roll. And Diane Smith says that grinds her gears that although lockdown is easing, does it really take 3 people to shop for a loaf of bread and a pint of milk? Fair question. And Cumpson, the things that drive her mad. People who drive on the right-hand lane at 60 miles an hour, and then when the lane ends, they cut you up by pushing their way in. They think they're more important than you. And I'll tell you, I bet the majority are Audis and BMWs. They're always the worst. And that's it, I think. Let's dive into the calls. Diane, Hartlepool, things that grind your gears. What grinds yours then?
Well, Alan, I have to say, you look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you very
don't
much.
Age.
Oh, that's very kind. I think I know better. But anyway,
You've already read it out. I'm trying to keep it light, like people have sick of hearing about coronavirus and hearing the ease of lockdown and how it is.
Okay.
It's grinders up. As you've said, people go to the supermarket for bread and milk. 3 of you. Does it really take 3 people to go to the supermarket for bread and milk?
And the other thing is some shops will say only one of you can come in. And then
I work in one of them supermarkets that is that.
The 3 of you then kind of look at
I'm
each other
going
and
into
go,
the supermarket, yes.
I'm going to have to go and sit in the car after standing here for 25 minutes. Serves them right, though, I suppose.
And get a load of abuse. And luckily, we've had fantastic weather for spring.
Yeah.
We've had amazing weather, and a lot of customers have been fantastic and stood there and went, oh, yes, it's fine. We'll take that on the chin. We're not allowed in together. And it is all about social distancing. Yes, the government are saying you're allowed out to do this, but we are one of the supermarkets that are still maintaining that 1 in, 1 out.
Yeah, but do you not realise that you must see the people in the supermarket? There's many, many, many occasions where you're within a foot of somebody, let alone 2 meters.
We actually do the stuff. We cannot maintain social distancing. It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
Doing delivery, it's impossible.
Yeah.
My partner works for, I won't name the company on air, works for a company where it was a big outbreak. He actually caught the virus and we were put on lockdown, and it got put to, I think there was about 30 of them ended up with the virus.
Right.
And it was like, right, but he's only gone back to work a fortnight ago, and they're like, oh, well, now we want you on 12-hour shifts for the fortnight
Jeebus. Right.
that you have had off to make up for this. And some people are still really, really poorly with this virus.
Absolutely.
Some people have had it mildly.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's flu. Yeah, all right, it's a giggle. But some people are really, really poorly with this virus.
Well, whatever it is, whether it's coronavirus or whether it's one of the other things that have similar symptoms, you're still poorly for heaven's sake.
None of us supermarket workers have had it, which is
Great.
crazy how we just like...
But you see, I don't understand how that is, because I was at I've been to a couple of supermarkets across the week, like you do, and I was in one of them and I bought some petrol at the supermarket's garage. I don't know whether you've got a supermarket with a garage nearby. Mm-hmm. Well, I went into the supermarket's garage, and it's a little shop with a tiny middle section, with stuff on it.
Yeah.
And you walk down one end to pay for your petrol, and then you're supposed to walk up the other end. However, because the queue's out the door, you then have to walk within about 6 inches of everybody to get past the... Well, completely...
Totally agree.
What's that about?
It's just bountiful you do, isn't it? It's like and then you've got the government saying, well, you're allowed to do this, but then the rules are like... So then you have customers, which is right when the government is saying this, but then a company is saying, well, no, we want you to do this.
Right. And you can only do what you're told is the thing.
Oh,
that's
definitely. And I wanted to keep it light-hearted.
Good.
I think a lot of things have been around coronavirus. And I just think, everyone's done the best. Every single key worker, I'm not the only key worker, you've got the NHS, you've got everyone doing the best. And it's just really difficult to...
Well, you cannot keep everybody happy. That's the
you definitely can't keep anyone happy.
But absolute respect to you guys working in supermarkets, because you've been there right through the whole thing, haven't you? You've been grafted the way through.
Everyone has, yeah. It's been difficult. It's been up, it's been down, it's been mentally.
But was it not from a morale point of view a tough thing? Because you are looking at pretty much every other industry, and everybody's off. And most of them on full pay one way or another, and you've got to graft all the way through it.
I had actually my partner whinging about the working at a social distance, and he couldn't, and they had the time off. Right. And I was like, hold on a minute, we've actually worked through this from day one. You are now whinging 2-3 months down the line that this is happening. We've done this from day one. This is what we were coming in. Morale was really to the low, to the point where we had to go and speak to our manager, and he did eventually come and speak to us. It took a lot, but then it was new to him. He didn't know. He had a lot of information that was being flung at him, didn't know how to deal with it. It was really difficult, and I take my hat off to anyone who's had to go through this. And
absolutely, no, hey,
it's
been tough. It's been tough in 1,000 ways. You're quite right.
On everyone, not just key workers.
Sure.
I suppose everyone who's had to isolate, We've been lucky with the weather, really lucky with the weather.
We hear that June could be a cold patch comes in with rain.
I've just been looking at books and holidays. I was like, yeah, that's typical.
We might pay for it. Hey, but Diane, thank you very much for coming on, love.
Everyone keep your chins up and we'll get through this.
And thanks for all you do. Respect to you and your colleagues. Thanks a lot.
Lovely, thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. People don't say that. I always make a double point of saying thanks to whoever's on the tills or working in the shops and stores, because they have had the rough end of many a stick there. And I know a lot of people big up the health workers, and deservedly so. But blame me, there's a lot of other heroes kicking around. Val is next, and she wants to talk about anything except coronavirus. Hi, Val.
And I'm not talking about that bloke that went up to Durham from London either.
All right.
Or Donald Trump's sister that's gone to a second home.
Yeah, she has. Apparently. Well, for somebody who didn't want to talk about it, you're talking about it.
I'm not talking about the famous.
All right.
By the way, happy anniversary for Tuesday.
Thank you.
And happy birthday to Neil, just in case he thinks we've all forgotten him. No, we haven't. We'll
It's-
always remember him.
His birthday too, absolutely. Great.
I can't forget his birthday and I can't forget your anniversary because it's the day before mine.
Perfect. Well, hey, congratulations to you as well. That's
yeah, I'm getting to that age now where I hope everybody will still need us and still feed us.
good. Oh, that's you've hit the Beatles song. Well done.
Happy, yeah.
Good girl.
So, but I've still got to work for 2 years, yes, so... And unless the government decide to stick another year on.
Oh, don't even suggest it. Don't
I'm
even
not suggesting
suggest
that
it.
they've already done it to most people.
I know, that's the thing, but
Anybody that's younger than us.
it's still 66 at the moment, I think.
I think
So,
I started work when I was 15. I thought I want to go home and give
It's
Boris
I know,
thump on the nose.
I think the phrase is it's about bloody time you got something back. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, but well, I'll wait and see. My daughter'll probably get it before I do at this rate. At least I've named her in me will.
Oh, blimey, that's a long time away, I hope.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I hope so.
we're getting this far. I mean, I've still been going out to work.
Right.
I'm just a cleaner in the school, but we've still been going out
Why, though, when there's been nobody at the school?
because we can do the deep clean.
Ah, see.
And we had to make sure everything. And I mean, some of the children have still been going in, so them areas still need cleaning.
Gotcha.
So, and so where we haven't been cleaning, we've been doing a deep clean on the other parts.
Right.
So there'll be a health check before any of the children go back to school anyway. So
It's just we had somebody earlier on saying that, well, first of all, the government say you shouldn't wear a tie, you shouldn't wear a blazer,
yeah.
you shouldn't carry a bag.
Well, let's face it, Alan. They've been off for 12 weeks. These blazers and ties and everything have been thrown to one side because they'll need a whole load of new ones when they get back to school anyway. How many children grow in 3 months?
Well, no, I say that, but surely they're going to need a bag with their books and all that kind of stuff in. I mean,
Well,
even I had a haversack. I wasn't posh with like a briefcase
You know,
or anything.
if you can remember back to your school days, your last 7 weeks, did you really do that much?
No, nothing. No.
Exactly, and this is what it is, really. It's going to be the last 6-7 weeks. All they'll be doing is preparing for next year, moving things around, and
No, I suppose.
they'll be sitting in the classroom and just
I
having a bit of
suppose.
fun.
And then the last 3 days, it's, do you want to bring any games in you want to play? It was always that back then. But the reality always was you always still had to carry your books, and they kind of went through the motions. And do you know what I mean? I just don't know how they
tell
can't.
me, like, because John Morley in our school was never that strict on it, whether you carried a book around. Rather, you didn't carry the books because you had to sit in somebody else with it.
Now, hang on a second. The thing was, I went to John Morley Upper, which was all boys.
Aye.
And yeah, I do admit an awful lot of people tried very hard not to do anything. But they were fairly fierce because they were still strapping people back in those
Well,
days.
they might have been still strapping people, but I never got any homework. They must have felt sorry for me.
Yeah, but you women
I was
wrap
only
teachers
3
around your
foot, though.
fingers. You know that.
No, you couldn't. I was just thick, so they thought they'd leave us alone. Different bother. She's not going to stay on school anyway, so just let her go.
Hey-ho.
If she gets a job, that's
Just
good.
get through it and get
But
out the other
I've never been
side.
without a job,
That's good. That
so I
counts
didn't
for
need
a lot.
any qualifications to work.
Absolutely.
Now you need a qualification for anything, though. I mean, I feel for the kids now.
Well, especially if what we're being told is, the biggest recession in 300 years, 5 million unemployed. How the hell are you going to get a job when there's 5 million people chasing them?
I mean, they say there's apprenticeships here, Where's all these apprenticeships going to come from? Because half of the businesses now have gone bust, haven't they?
Absolutely.
So, bless them. They've got no qualifications because this GCSE went down the pan. This A-level went down the pan.
Yeah, no, it did.
I know, I feel for these kids that have left this year because nobody knows the teacher's marks, and they'll probably think, well, no, that teacher knew them best, but
I would hope they would give them a little bit of leeway
I hope
because
so.
of this
Well,
the
they're all
situation.
done the mocks before all this started off.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't know anybody that's ever got up and said, "Well, I didn't pass my main exams, but I did really well in my mocks."
I know.
I'm not sure that's going to count for too much.
I know. gosh, but let's hope they keep thinking about it and
Absolutely.
just be right. Get off.
We
Go
hope
on.
so too. Anything else then, Val?
No, that's all. Thanks.
Lovely catching up with you.
And
Thanks
I
for
don't know
ringing.
any Lou jokes, so I don't want to carry them on either.
That's not a problem. I shall give you one. Stuck in the whittle with you. There you go. We'll give...
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Cheers, Val. 0191 488 3188. They're still coming in. David in Northumberland says a good toilet song could be Pooper Scooper. It's just a pooper scooper. Bit of ABBA. Why not? And we're going to be talking to Liz in Newcastle, who lives opposite the butchers that I mentioned earlier. Now, I drove past it, Geet Q. Couldn't understand it. Thought they must be selling smokehouse food or something. Nearly pulled over on the very thought of it. However, Liz, in a second, but before that, piece of music from a quality band, Spandau Ballet. It's probably their biggest hit. So I asked Tony Hadley, superstar, etc., not in a kilt at the time, all about, well, the style, the unique shape and formation of a band called Spandau Ballet. I think it's interesting. It says an awful lot about you that you say. The thing that really embarrasses me to this day is forgetting the words to the odd tune when you've sang thousands. And yet you don't even mention, just look at what you wore, Tony.
I know. Well, when we were a band at school, I mean, we started off as a lot of bands as playing R&B covers like Chuck Berry, "Whoa, Carol, don't let us steal your heart away," that kind of stuff.
Yeah, brilliant.
Silver Train and Saw Us Standing There. Yeah. And we sort of then morphed into this kind of power pop Generation X, Billy Idol type band. Yeah. And then everything changed because you had David Bowie, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop all going to Berlin, La Düsseldorf, Kraftwerk. Yeah. Everything started to change, and this whole synth thing came into play. Consequently, in Birmingham, you had the Durannies, you had the Sheffield, you had the Human League. Yeah. Us from London, Depeche Mode from Basingstoke, Basildon, actually, not Basingstoke, Basildon. So there were all these different bands coming on. This is a different period of time. And you've got to remember, I mean, I talk to people, say, look, there were 3 TV channels, fashion and music. That was it. Yeah. You had no social media. To make a phone call was an effort.
But you created this new romanticism whole thing. And I mean, it absolutely worked. I mean, it was right for what was happening in the day. It's just looking back, it must be quite peculiar.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I think it was just a much more innocent time. I mean, we were in an era where you could still be kind of shocking. There's me wearing ballet shoes with dyed hair, looking like Robin Hood or something, and people could still be outraged by what you did. So there were innocent times and they were changing times. I mean, just through the whole of that late 70s, early 80s period, I mean, our country was going through massive sea changes, and it was just, it was different. I mean, the end of the Cold War, for instance, the Berlin Wall coming down. I mean, I was there when the wall was coming down. We did a gig that night. Through the barricades, there were people openly sobbing. It was an innocent time. It really was. Band Aid, Live Aid. I mean, wow. Man.
This is Night Owls on Greatest Hits Radio.
You never know who's going to call next.
0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, very soon you may hear a strange but low discernible hum. Because the central heating in the building went off and it's on full heat at the present moment. It's about 90 degrees in here. And so we're going to get a fan just... otherwise, I'll probably keel over this chair and fall down. I've already got... You know that when you have a curry and you get that under the eyes thing? It's already happening. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's get in. You can probably tell that the door's open as well, so I'm hoping there's nothing out there for you to hear. However, let us go to Liz. Now, Liz lives opposite... yes, Tony with a fan. Stick it in, if you pardon the expression. Her matron. And get it rolling, and let's just say... Now, point it at me. Don't point... Well, that's better.
It's not really good.
No, I'm getting it. I hope you can't hear that too much back home, because that's the world. It's the world of difference. Oh no, that's all right. Well, you'll get me as many fans as you can. I'm a star. All right. Anyway, let's crack on. Went out for a drive, just for a drive, because everybody's saying, oh, it's sunny. Didn't want to go to a beach and do all that breaking the rulesy thing. Instead, I just went for a drive, filled up the car with petrol, had a little run, and I ended up through Bedlington, through Blythe, kind of that neck of the woods, and I passed the butcher, the fat butcher, and a bit further along, Premier Meats. Now, I know Premier Meats is a butcher, but why were the massive queues outside, which is good for them? I just didn't understand why there were loads of queues outside of butchers, because I thought everybody went to the supermarket for their meat mostly. And no disrespect to the company's concerned, but the fat butcher, very busy. Liz lives... Oh, hang on, there's a super fan. Well, this is a black fan. Let's see. Hang on, just plugs in, plugs out. Oh, don't have it swirling around. Just have it on me. Oh, yeah, that's the boy. Oh, it's a bit noisy, doing it? No, give me the quiet one. I don't want to impinge on the enjoyment that you may have of a show, a fanless show. Oh, you cannot have that. That's no good. I'd rather have a quiet fan than a noisy one. Ask anybody in the business, they'll tell you the same thing. Anyway... Yeah, that's better. Let's go across to Liz. She's waited long enough. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, darling. Tell me everything about this. There's a big smokehouse at the back of the fat butcher. What does that do then?
That's a restaurant, Alan.
Oh, I see. Right. So that'll have been closed for the longest time then?
Yeah, it's like an American type of thing that does barbecues and smokehouse stuff.
Gotcha. I understand. I didn't know whether everybody was going in because they were buying, like, barbecued this and barbecued that. But obviously they're just going into the fat butchers for the meat, and presumably the smokehouse will get their meat from the fat butcher anyway.
That's right. And I'm not plugging him, but he does excellent barbecue packages.
Oh, what is a barbecue package? Forgive my ignorance here.
Chicken, burgers.
And they're already cooked?
No. They're all raw.
Right, but they've got the barbecue, or for a barbecue. I see what you're saying. For your own personal garden barbecue. I'm with you. Right.
Yeah. Or you can get a meat package, which you get chops and bacon and sausage and all that kind of stuff. My daughter got got a carrier bag full for 20 quid.
Wow. That's good business, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, and he's meat. I mean, I don't knock Premier Meats. I have bought off them before, but this fat butcher, his meat is lovely.
Right. Well, I definitely worth a try. It was just for people to be queuing on a red-hot day when everybody else was just lying around the garden. You have to be you have to deliver under those circumstances.
Yeah, well, he'll have been selling these barbecue packs, you see, so people's gone and bought their barbecue packs to take home and have their barbecues.
And they don't have to fiddle with anything. It's just ready to slop on the grill, I suppose.
Yes, just ready to throw on the grill, cook it and eat it.
Brilliant. No, that makes absolute sense. I just drove past two butchers in a row and I'm thinking, massive queues. How much meat do the people around here actually eat? Because as I mentioned before, supermarkets they've all got butchery departments, and you would think, well, that's where most people would go, but not in that part of the world. They've got a good following, obviously.
Yeah, his meat's fresh. You get it in a carrier bag, all wrapped up, obviously, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Hey, well, thank you very much. It's sold, because I drove past like a garden centre that had opened kind of closer to Morpeth, kind of Stannington way, and I drove that kind of long way off from the A1, just decided to turn left and see where it brought me, and went right the way down to Blythe and the coast, and I kept spotting these places. One cafe was open, but they wouldn't let people in, but they'd put tables outside so people could sit down and have a slide drink. People are trying to make business, trying to get a little bit of money in at a time when an awful lot of places are just slammed shut. And the ones that are opening, even if they are just a little cafe, they're making money because people are queuing for these things because nothing else is available for them.
Well, Dobby's, what used to be Peter Barrett's at Gosford.
Yes.
Just outside of Gosford Park.
Know it.
My grandson works there.
All right.
But he's in the restaurant bit. So they've set some tables outside, and you've got a queue to get in, obviously. They only let so many in the shop.
Right.
But the restaurant bit, they've got some tables outside, so you don't go in the restaurant itself.
Right.
You can still have a cuppa outside.
That's great. Are they selling food, or is it just basically like tea and cake kind of thing?
It's just tea and cakes, really. They're not cooking. He's never mentioned them cooking it.
Right. But it's a start. It's a beginning.
It's a start, because, he's been off a couple of months and he's getting back part-time-ish.
Yeah, because you see, if you've just heard the news, at 10 o'clock they're saying that they're suggesting that in buses, always make sure you sit, like, away from other people. And it might well be in restaurants, every second table you can't have. You know what I mean? So that you can keep a little bit of space. But fingers crossed we'll be back sooner rather than later, because everybody's just desperate to get out and have a day where you don't have to worry about stuff.
Well, I was supposed to fly to Spain on the 15th.
Ah, bless you.
But Alicante are not opening the airport until the 1st of July.
Right.
Because my friend FaceTimed us this morning and told us she's gone back to work today.
Right.
The beaches are not open.
No.
But Alicante's airport will not be opening until the 1st of July.
And they're also saying that Spain and Greece are the only two countries that they're not wanting British flights to land onto yet. But possibly by the 1st of July, all that will be sorted. It's another month away, and things are changing by the day at the moment. So, fingers crossed. Have you rebooked a date, or have you got your money back? What's the crack?
You've got to, well, I was told that it's got to be 14 days before your actual flight date. If it's cancelled, then it automatically gives you your money back.
Right. Oh, that's all right.
If you rebook, you do not get your money. It goes onto your rebooking, obviously.
No, I understand that. Yeah. But the thing is, what you'll want really, though, you don't want to go to Spain where 90% of it's still locked down. You want to go to Spain when you can just ease back, enjoy yourself, and not have to worry. That's the thing, though. You want to...
You can't get in the airport anyway, so... And like you say, what's the point of going if I stop in friend's house?
Yeah.
I've got a balcony, and if that's as far as I'm going to go, then I've paid flight money to go and sit on a balcony.
Nah, it's not enough. Not enough.
It's not worth it.
Get the money, keep a hand, and then when the time comes, set yourself free. That's
so long as everything's all right by January, I'll be happy, because then I'm away.
Hey, you do. Liz, thank you very much, and thanks for answering the question as well. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Alan. You're welcome.
Thanks, darling. You take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Stay well and fly to Alicante. David Spacey says, what was the name of the serial killer that you met in Paris who was really evil? He was Nico Claus, and he was a cannibal killer, and he ended up writing a book called The Human Cookbook. Lighting Desk says, I'm almost caught up on your Grizzly Tale podcasts. they're getting quite a following. If you haven't checked them out yet, you really should. Maria Henderson. Hi, Alan. I'm one of the Moon people from here in Concert. I knew that immediately. As soon as I saw your picture wearing a sombrero, there was only one place you could have come from. And Yasmin Jade Waterman says, Alan, loved this show for years. You're an icon. I've been called many things, but an icon's one of the nicer ones, so thank you very much. And Paul Stevenson says, give a mention to the Groover, the Mover, and I'm in love with the Hoover. Whoever that happens to be, I thought I would suck up to him. Anyway, let's move on to Simon, who's in Peterlee. Hi, Simon.
Hello, mate. All right?
I'm good. What are you talking about tonight?
I just want to say I was one of the last callers for your original show on Metro.
Thank you.
And well, I said to you, thank you then for you getting me and the other night owls through darkest times of my life. And I also noticed on your Facebook Live you've got a Thomas Sabo Falcon ring.
Yes, I have.
Which I have one of those, and the Falcon is the messenger of light.
Yes, indeed.
Aye.
Yeah.
And also, right, it's only going to be a quick call.
Okay.
And people are. My lass has got COPD and diabetes. I have asthma, and we do have family and friends that. I mean, we're on lockdown to look after us. But on the odd occasion that I have to go down Asda, I've got a full-face army respirator.
Oh, blimey.
And queuing up, and people take the mickey, right, and laughing, etc., etc. And I think, right, you know what, right, I'm just risk management.
Yeah, but on top of that, give them a week with COPD. See how they like that. Hell's teeth. They wouldn't take that on for a second, would they?
All right. And today, right, my lass has been on lockdown. Well, tomorrow will be the start of week 10. And today, we actually took a walk out together with our dog, right? And it was, nice day, etc., etc. We walked around to avoid people, and people stepped across the road, etc., etc. And that's the first breath of fresh air that she's had in 10 weeks.
Blimey, right.
And I mean, I've been out with my dog for every day, obviously.
Yeah, but have you been wearing that full size face mask? Because it would make you look like something out of Doctor Who.
It does, but no, I haven't, right? Because I go in areas where I'm avoiding people.
Right. Sensible.
And I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, I talk to me last, but I can't imagine how it must be to be locked down for more or less 10 weeks inside the flat and looking out of the window, looking at all these people, right? And to be quite honest, right, they're a bunch of idiots in their mind. Not social distancing. Oh, everything's normal, etc., etc. And it's just like, you want to get hold of them and shake the reds.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say where this street is because I drive through it every day and I don't want to be stoned to death.
Hi.
But there is a street that I pass through to get to work here, and if you call this work. And the sunshine's brought everybody out during the day, and it's all terraced properties, and everybody's right next door to each other. And they're going round to each other's gardens and sitting there and having like baths for the kids and hose pipe fights and eating food off each other. And there's no point having a fence. And there's certainly no distancing going on. And people just say, well, it's sunny, so obviously we're not going to get the virus if it's sunny, which seems like a dumb thing to say, especially when you've got so many kids running around. But they're running from one house to the other, to the other, to the other. So if any of those children maybe are strong enough not to show any signs, but they've got the disease, they're infecting every single person in the street. And
that's the thing, because you can be asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, and it's like, well, you could have symptoms for 24, 48 hours, and you could spread that, and then all of a sudden you've infected who knows how many people.
It's just best to err on the side of caution every time, because people are too important to lose. Simple as that. And we know that there's loads of viruses that pile in across us every year, but we want to protect ourselves from all of them. I think it's interesting that we now wash our hands in a way that we never washed our hands before.
Well, to be quite honest, right, every time me and my lass have been out, you know, we go food shopping or whatever, right, or we go out for something to eat or whatever, as soon as we come in, we wash our hands.
But
right?
did you do that
just,
before? Did you do it before?
Oh, yeah.
So nothing's
it's just
changed.
Something that you did, because when you come in, especially when you're getting like food shopping, your hands just feel grubby and you just think, well, I need to wash my hands.
Right. No, well, that's good. But back in the day, I can remember, if ever you went into a gentleman's toilet, you know, the land, the time forgot. If anybody goes into a gentleman's toilet, if you're there...
I'm 52, so I do remember.
You've been in a few, but they're still out there. But you go in, you do what you do, you go to the sink and you wash your hands. And while you're washing your hands, half a dozen people will have gone, weed and pooed, and never walked anywhere near the sink. Out they go. So even if you wash your hands, as soon as you touch that handle, you're touching their filth.
I mean, when I was at primary school or infant school, it was just something that you got learned at school.
Right.
Wash your hands, right, etc., etc. I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, but bottom line is you were taught well, because it's held you in good stead. Anything else then, Simon?
No, that's it. And I'm absolutely over the moon that you're back on the air, even if it's only once a week.
Thank you kindly. Appreciate it, Simon. Stay well, mate. All the best.
And you, Alan.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, blimey, COPD is a nasty damn thing. One thing I have neglected to tell you is your first clue. I'm going to give you 4 clues. All of the 4 answers are words in a famous song, a greatest hit, right here on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. The first clue is Where the Jam Were Going. One of their big hits is called Going Something. Where the Jam Were Going. That's your first clue. You'll get 3 more clues to come and see if you can work out what the 4 answers are. And if you can, tell me the name of the song that features all 4 words. This one might stump one or 2 of you. Anyway, we have Babs, who's in Houghton Spring. Hiya, Babs.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
I'm good. Good to hear from you. Thank you for calling. What are you talking about tonight, then?
Well, first of all, before my main topic, you were on about peas and poos and what have you, and that really made me feel yuck, because for ages, you know what, when we women go to the toilet, or any public toilet, now I'm the same now, you know what, you tend to use a tissue or a paper towel, particularly in hospitals, to hold all the doors open. Right. And I still do that even now. I've done it for ages, because I hate the idea of transferring other people's... Filth. And you just said it in a nutshell when you're on about, you know, when you touch handles, you're touching somebody else. I thought, oh, my God, no.
But the thing is, you women have this gift that men are incapable of doing. Now, I have tried this. You have the gift of hover. You can do this thing on the toilet seat where you hover. I tried to hover. I ended up, my legs got a wobble on. I was thinking, I'm going to have to sit. Then you try and get paper to put down and you go, too late. Backside's on the ceramic. It's too late. Oh, no, now you've got to go home and have a bath or a shower. Nightmare.
Oh, God.
I wish we could hover like you girls, honestly.
Yeah, but we've all got to touch the handles and the flush, you know?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And it's not something you can do with, like, elbows or anything. That's why you've got to wash your hands. Then as soon as you do, you should carry a Captain Hook around just to get the doors open so you don't have to touch them. Scruffy. A lot of people are scruffy, though, sadly. That's the thing, still.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, I know that more than anything this last few weeks anyway with what I've been doing, you know.
Right. For sure. So, things that grind your gears, what winds you up then, Babs?
Oh God! Well, it's a litter. It's like ever since the COVID-19 has happened, people are more dirty than normal, dropping litter. And talking about distance, and I mean, I do a lot of bird and wildlife photography because that's my passion at the moment, since I did my 2 degrees.
Right.
And I got so fed up, and about 6 weeks ago, I was on the top of the hill near Horton Cut. And it was a Thursday night, and somebody was letting fireworks off, which is wrong anyway when you're clapping. You should clap for the NHS, who deserve it. You don't set off fireworks because it just causes more litter.
Yeah.
But I'm on the top of this really beautiful place with Huppy, and it got really poignant at one stage because everywhere I looked, there was just empty beer cans. There were spoil things from people smoking and drugs, handmade bongs from plastic bottles. And it was an absolute tip on the top of this. And I just got really upset. And I'm thinking, no wonder, I photograph birds and wildlife sometimes, Alan, and I can't, sometimes I go to places and I always carry black bags in my car.
Always take your rubbish home with you. Why the hell not?
Not just that, I pick up other people's rubbish and I get rid of it,
Got to be careful though with needles and stuff, because that's so easy.
I found some once at a nature reserve, and I mean, I've got my gloves in the car, I've got my PPE stuff, I've got my masks, I've got disinfectant, you name it, I've got it, and I stole my husband's litter stick thing, which is used as he's got arthritis and what have you, and he's just had major surgery, so I had to get another one from Amazon because I took his litter pick stick to use it. So I decided this one particular day, like 6 weeks ago, that's it. I'm going to come up here and I don't care how long it takes. It's my exercise time and I'll just fill a few bags.
Right.
And I've been doing it once or twice a week. And I got rid of about 55 plus big black bin liners.
Give over. That's ridiculous. For a beauty spot. Cheapest.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I can see a big difference.
I know, but for that amount to come from just one place just shows you how many people have been up there misusing the place in the first.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What a damn shame.
It is. It's upsetting. And then I met one couple who were walking, and obviously they were concerned. And I joined the Horton Residence Place and a page group. Sorry, I can't get my words out. Facebook page group. Oh, God, me technology. And I joined it, and I said, well, why don't we do a distance litter pick? And I think they got the wrong end of the stick, because I thought, well, some of the comments were very, very positive, mind.
Right.
It's a brilliant community page. However, people were obviously concerned and said that, they would do it after the COVID and what have you, and they'll be happy to help and volunteer.
Yeah.
And I said, it doesn't matter. I'll do it anyway because I'm just so fed up of it. And once or twice a week.
Yeah. No, it's a lovely thing, but if everybody, when you go down to the beach, and I know I have become very close to a beach near Berwick called Spittal. It's just a lovely...
Oh, yeah, I know well, yeah.
It's a lovely stretch of sand, and you can see gannets diving for fish and cormorants, and for your photography, what a place that would be.
Oh, it is. It's beautiful.
It's a
I
nice
know exactly
place.
where that is, yeah.
So I love that little stretch of sand, and even if every time you go, you just picked up one thing, if everybody did that, there'd be nothing there for people to leave behind. The odd bottle, the odd chip packet, just pick it up.
Yeah. But what worries me, what bothers me particularly is it seems to be the same group, and you see we have Lidl's down the bottom of Houghton, and they're buying the same kind of beverages and what have you, but they bring these big packs, the cardboard boxes full of bottles.
Blimey, right.
Now, if they've got the strength to carry all them up, then we've got a litter bin that the council put at the bottom of the Horton Cut. There's like a place where people park up.
If they can carry them full up, they can carry them empty down.
Yeah, they can carry them down. Yeah, and
sure.
I got in touch with the council. Never ever got back to them. I've left messages. I've even designed posters so that I could I was going to do some hand painted posters on some spare wood I've got because I'm a bit of a.
Well, what they need somewhere is to hide a camera up there and start prosecuting people. Because
yeah, well, that's what I was going to do. I've got a trail camera, but I thought, well, would I be allowed to do that? But
Well,
nobody's got in touch with me from the council. So I thought, well, yeah, catch some of these, you know?
it's probably illegal to film people. If you're the police, I think you're allowed to.
Exactly.
But personally,
yeah, exactly.
and you don't want to lose your camera if anybody spots it. But
exactly.
But somebody should do something with it, because the local police probably know the names of all of these people and they'll be readily able to identify them. But it's just not acceptable, especially not in this day and
I
age.
got in touch with a local bin company and I volunteered. I said, look, I'd be happy to, what I'm hoping to do after COVID is to maybe go to schools and do presentations of my work, my birds, get the kids interested and maybe talk about the environment issues as well. I'd be quite happy to do that for free for the first few times. So if anybody's listening out there, you know, get in touch with me, Babs Baker, photo taker.
Give it a go. No, that would be great. It's a lovely thing as well. And as long as you got lots of great pictures to show people as well. Fabulous.
Yeah. I think I sent Chris some pictures of before and after, and I've got some, I'm keeping a blog of all my photographs to put in a book just to show how, you know, the interaction with I don't know, litter and the environment. I mean, if everybody makes, like you say, one, it just takes one carrier bag.
Yeah, but it makes a difference.
I need a new stick. I think I broke the other one now, so I've got to order another. I mean, I did ask if the council would perhaps, via email, kindly donate me a litter stick, and I would do it quite happily on my own for free, but nobody got back to me.
Well, this is the thing they should get behind and support.
Yeah.
Hey, but Babs, thank you very much. Lovely talking to you.
You look, listen, you sound absolutely amazing. You look even better than you look as young as you did when I remembered last time seeing you on TV, love, and it was a pleasure speaking to you. But
well, thank you. Just makes me sure how old I must have looked back then. Thank you very much. Cheers, Babs. All the best. 01914 883188. Now, we are travelling across the seas. We're going down under, in fact. We have a new Aussie correspondent, Ginger Alex, from Australia. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alan.
Hello. What are you doing down there?
Do you remember me?
Of course I do. Cool, blimey. You've travelled a ways. Tell me everything.
I know, like literally, it's crazy. So obviously, since I left, I've been doing quite a lot of travelling, just because I feel like that's just the way you need to live.
Now, incidentally, for the benefit of those night owls that don't realise, Alex used to work on the Night Owl switchboard. So where have you been then before you arrived in Oz?
Where have I been? Yeah. So before I arrived in Oz, so I've done a month in Thailand, which was amazing. I've done a month interrailing around Europe, which was incredible. And then probably the biggest one that I've done so far was like my ski season, where I basically lived in France for like 5 months, working in a chalet. So I was like a chalet girl, cooking and cleaning for like a chalet of like 18 people.
Wow.
While I got to ski and stuff, and that was just incredible. And then I was like, right, I really want to go on like a really fat one, like a proper adventure, like on my own, no plans.
Right.
And I always wanted to go to Australia. My dad, when he was 23, he did exactly the same thing, and he never stopped going on about it. And he was just like, "Oh, Alex, you need to go. Like, you'll meet so many people." And I was just like, "Oh God, it's scary." But I was like, "Oh, I need to do it. Like, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it." Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I think you're incredibly brave, because you do hear these stories about people that take a year out and then they're never heard of again. So for you to actually take that on board, that's a gutsy thing, Alex. Really, respect you.
Well, at the end of February, I flew out. So it was end of February, and had 2 weeks in Melbourne, which were insane. I did this tour with like Welcome to Travel, and they were like this really good tour company, and they basically sorted you out. They like you met so many people on that who you sort of like continue your adventure with, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And that was incredible. Did the Great Ocean Road, saw so many kangaroos, so many koalas, like the whole shebang.
But I'm guessing once kind of March, April came in, it was locking down there the same as it happened here.
Well, yeah, that's it. So I met 2 girls, and we decided that we wanted to travel the East Coast together. And so from Melbourne, we went to Sydney, and it was when we were in Sydney that it just I had the phone call from my mum being like, Alex, you need to decide whether you want to come home or not.
Yeah.
She's just crying her eyes out, and I was like, oh my gosh, Mum.
Was she crying because she thought you might have to come home?
Well, oh God, to be honest, I think she was just having a breakdown, to be honest, about the world, you know, we are in a pandemic.
Many a parent did, absolutely, yeah. So how was it? I mean, what could you do when the lockdown came then? Because presumably you would be working in the tourist area, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So when Mum called up, she was like, "You need to decide whether you want to come home." But at this point, we just wanted to travel up the East Coast as normal, just because we wanted to do a bit of travelling before settling somewhere to find work. Because neither of us had like got a job secured or anything like that. We were sort of coming for this adventure, like just sort of dipping and diving in, where we want with any sort of job. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then it was in Sydney where we were like, "Oh, we'll just continue going up the East Coast." So we ended up at Arawara Beach. I'm in Arawara now. Snakeoff Harbour. It's just on the East Coast.
Right.
And it's basically like a surf camp.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously the whole state of Australia all went into lockdown, so we couldn't travel anymore. And all of us backpackers at this surf camp were just sort of stranded, and we were just like, oh my God, what do we do now?
But what do you do for money, though, is the thing, because essentially you've still got to eat and sleep and have a roof over your head, and you're in a land that you're basically surfing, literally, around the country. What happened? Did the folks have to send you some cash or what?
Well, exactly. So, no, I've not had any cash sent to me. I'm basically running off my savings right now, but all of us at this camp are now starting to work on a farm.
Right.
So we're all waiting for farm work for our second year visa, because it's basically it's the most convenient work while obviously everything sort of calms down, like with all this. So I'm basically going to be picking berries for a living for the next sort of like couple of months.
Right.
See how that goes. And then that'll keep me apparently it's good money, to be honest. So that'll sort of keep me ticking over for now. And then hopefully when everything blows over a bit, I'll try and find like another job which doesn't involve like picking berries. But we'll see, Alan.
Hey,
you've just up to the adventure.
You've done amazingly well. I mean, how much longer? So you've got another year to go? Or how far into your period are you?
Yeah, so I've got my working holiday visa, and with your working holiday visa, you can work in Australia, and basically anywhere you want, really. But in order to get your second year visa, if you want to stay out longer, you have to do your farm work for 3 months. So you have to do 88 days of farm work.
Gotcha.
So we thought, if we're enjoying it, which we're really enjoying it, it's such an amazing place, like such a chilled lifestyle. Like it's nothing like England. Everything just feels so much more laid back. It's weird. Like it's just so nice.
Well, that certainly fits you. If I remember the kind of work you did for me.
Oh, I bet you miss laughing at me.
I do, absolutely. Got to take a break, Alex, but lovely to hear from you. Thank you for coming back on. It's been a joy.
Well.
Stay well.
Thank you.
Take it easy. Pick them berries. Ginger, she was amazing on the switchboard. Great to hear from her again. Quick break, quick tune, and then we'll talk to see even more of you, for heaven's sake. Why not?
the voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Oh, can't blame me, mate. I'm not finished. And Chris, wherever you are, get me a few calls at the present moment because he hasn't got me anybody at the moment because thinking I was going to go into a piece of music, I have decided not to. I'm going to take as many calls as I can. We'll take a bit of music in about 10 minutes. You can hear them yelling about it. Get a trickle, Colin, somebody for on. However, in the meantime, a lot of people contacted me about if every song in the world was made about toilets. Skitter tears. Yeah, that is so bad. And if you're a fan of Bing Crosby, or Frank, I think Frank Sinatra did this as well, in the wee hours of the morning. Fart for fart's sake, a bit of 10cc there. Who's pooing who? I think that was Aretha. Going through the motions. I think that was the Blue Oyster Cult. Can't blame me. And this is one of my favourites. An Andrew Gold song. You remember he did Lonely Boy, and he also did Gonna Let One Slip Away. That is horrific. But anyway, keep them coming. I want more of them if possible. There you go. Things that grind your gears. And we were talking nature before. Carol wants to kick in on that very topic. Hi, Carol.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. Tell me everything.
Well...
So what are you talking about tonight, love?
Bees.
Bees?
Yes, little bees.
Yeah, what about them?
Well, it's
Right.
been going into the neighbours' eaves in the house.
Right. Is that not a problem for you?
No, I've got a tattoo, which I've had for years on my back.
Right, so the bees don't bother you because you've got a tattoo?
And I've got a core spotter.
Right.
With the bee.
So you don't use the attic for anything, so there's no reason for you to go up there then, I'm guessing?
They're not in the house, Alan.
No, they're just in your attic, but you don't have anything stored up there and you don't have to go up there? Or...
They're just in the eave.
Just in the eaves outside? Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
I can cope with that. So you can see the hive, can you? Or see them going in and out?
We'll see them going in and out. And the neighbours, the front of the house is north facing.
Mm-hmm.
The front of Jackie's house is south facing.
Right.
So they're going in and out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And other neighbours have reported the bees.
But you're quite happy to leave them with you?
Of course. It's nature.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And you'll have the best pollinated plants anywhere in your street.
Yes, because my garden's beautiful.
There you go. A lot of it will be down to them doing their thing. Now, that's nice. It's lovely because I know I had a problem with wasps in my attic, and I used my attic. I was in and out of it all the time, and I kept getting stung by the beggars.
Oh.
I had to get them, the people from the council up with their chemicals to get rid of it. I would have preferred not to. I just didn't have an option. But bees are a different thing altogether. They don't actually bother you much. They don't chase you down the path like wasps do, that's for sure.
No, well, I've been stung on the neck by a wasp.
Right.
And that really, really hurt.
Absolutely. Not a pleasant thing.
That me son, who was only young at the time.
Right.
And that me friend's child. Because everybody thought they were twins because there was only 6 weeks apart.
Ah, sweet. Right.
And luckily I went to Boots the chemist and Mr. Crowder.
Got the sting out for you, did he?
He took the sting out and put a spray on.
That's great.
Because I thought, how the hell am I going to eat a soul on the redo?
Well, that's it. You need somebody that knows what they're doing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it was really, really hurting.
I bet. Oh, it's a horrible thing. Awful.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
well,
I eat wasps, and I had a wasp nest at my old house.
Yeah.
And I got them. They didn't come in the house, but I got them terminated.
Yeah. I've got no conscience where wasps are concerned because they don't care for us. So therefore we're at war. Thank you for that, Carol. Good to hear from you, love. Thanks for ringing in.
Okay,
all the best. Bye-bye. There you go. She's at one with nature. She's got bees hiving with her, which is pretty good. More messages coming in. Ah, dear. If every song was about your toilet behaviour, Smear Drops, I think that was Womack. Bit of Bobby Darin, Splish Splash, and of course Wham, Wake Me Up Before I Go, just in case you've ever soiled your bed sheets. And it's time for your second clue. Can you identify a greatest hit from 4 words in it? Sounds impossible. It's not, though. Not if you're a genius. The first clue, Where the Jam Were Going. One of their big hits is called Going Something. Write that word down. Second clue, where the British Tennis Championships are played. Where the British Tennis Championships are played. 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come. A lot of other things are bog songs. No, come on, Wayne. Favourite for me, fella, would be Sade. I've got some smooth toilet paper. No need to scratch. There's a smooth toilet paper. I'm getting too into this. Because that is brilliant, Wayne, even though you've described it as bog paper. How dare you? How common. And we got some texts too. Oh, let me go there if I can remember how to do it. I think you've got to press a different button. It's that one. Is it? And then that one. There you go. Alan, what really winds me up is people lighting garden fires on a hot summer's evening. It's not cold. They need a fire, and every house in the street is then forced to close their windows. Hi, Alan. No disrespect, or as you've written, disrespect to ABBA. When I was at school, the kids used to sing Mamma Mia, I've got the diarrhea. But let's not forget, ABBA are also fantastic, says Jackie. Alan, I need your help. I'm looking for a haunted place that I could still access with all this stuff going on. Obviously, all the castles and stuff are closed. Any recommendations? Thanks, Alan. One of the best grisly, ghostly places for late at night, for a ghostly vigil, there's one of 2 places. Bamborough Dunes or the dunes beside the golf course at Allenmouth. There you go. And if you know the stories, you will know all about that. Let's crack on. We have Chris and Hexham talking about them things that grind your gears. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hello, then. Tell me yours, please.
Well, it wasn't really grinds my gears. There's people that complain, and it's a British thing, we all do it, but we complain when it's too hot. But then when it's cold, we complain. And it rains, we complain.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, this is true. And the funniest thing is, people that we live in a temperate climate where we're never going to live. This is not the south of France, right? We're going to get a bit of cold. We're going to get probably a bit of snow. And that's what we've always had in this part of the world. And yet they'll buy tickets to go to the Mediterranean for like the lady before who's going to Alicante. And they'll get to Alicante and it'll be about 10 to 15 degrees warmer. And they'll go, I can't cope with this heat. And yet they've saved up all year just to go to the place so they can't cope with the heat. I don't follow that. That is very much a British thing. And then they spend the entire holiday in the shade, trying to go from shade to shade. It's quite funny. But I must admit, it's exactly what I did the first time I went to Spain as well. And I wore a sombrero, which just shows you how British you can be. Socks, sandals, and the sombrero. That's us. Wherever we go in the world. Right, what else grinds your gears, man?
And when people text you, or they only say hi, and you say hi back, and they just blank you after that.
Yeah, what's that about?
They still read the messages, but they don't reply.
Yeah, but they're still saying hi, so that's a nice thing, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's a nice thing, but when you try to talk about more things,
yeah,
and they don't reply back to that.
No, I understand. What they should do is say hi, how you doing? Fire something at you that you can answer. Because if somebody says hi to you, you tend to go, hi.
Yeah.
And then that's the kind of conversation over. Yeah.
And one more thing. When you're standing in queues in a supermarket and people keep pushing in or keep bashing into you.
Ooh. Now, you say, especially trolleys. I don't know how many times on the back of my heels you know, there's another one. And they go, sorry, but you know they don't mean it. They don't care. Sometimes I think they do it on purpose. Yeah,
it's annoying.
Anything else?
No, that's it, though.
That's great. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Gan
Bye.
canny, mate. Bye-bye. We should say things like, how's it hanging? You know, only if you're talking to a bloke, of course. Or a very butch woman. 0191 488 3188. Going to take one more call, then give you a piece of music that'll make you go, oh, what a song. It will, guaranteed. Mika is in Saltburn. Hi, Mika.
Hello, Alan. You're right.
Hello, I'm very well. Thank you very much for ringing. So, do tell me everything about yourself.
Well, I'm Mika Mamon. I'm from Saltburn, and I'm a nurse frontliner in James Cook, and at the same time, a musician. And I've just released my single "Stand Together Apart," which is it's all about. A song is all about our experiences, fears, thoughts as a frontliner, and it's dedicated to everybody who gave us support. And obviously, it's the proceeds of this single goes to Health for Health Heroes, which is under NHS Charities Together.
Oh, that's cool. So where can people have a listen to this thing then? See if they want to support it.
Yeah, it's available in all major streaming sites, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, as well as in my website, mikamamon.com.
Right.
So you can just download the song in it. So, yes.
So what's it called again? To remind everyone?
Stand Together Apart.
Stand Together Apart.
Together Apart, yeah.
That's perfect. No, that's great, Mika. Thank you very much. I hope a lot of
Thank
people
you
go
very
there
much,
and take it up. Bless you, darling. Bye-bye. Chris says, can you remember Linda Barnshaw used to work with you at Newcastle? She's a hot lady. And she's listening in. Linda, good to hear from you. Thank you very much. One of the few I never chased. Anyway, 0191 488 3188. Curses. And Chris the trucker is with us in Wallsend. I think this time to dive across and just slide another call in. We said as many as we could. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
Very well. Tell me everything that you want to talk about. I think the Newcastle takeover was one of the things.
Yeah, I'm just fed up with it now. I wonder either something to be announced or them to stop linking with Edinson Cavani and Coutinho and all these sort of things. I mean, it's great to be linked with players of that calibre again.
Well, it is if it's going to happen, but it'll be really sad if all of these people get named and then eventually the Premier League say, because of discrepancies or whatever the reason is, we're not going to allow this. Then back to square one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the other thing that's kind of annoying about it is we've got great players with contracts that are expiring at the end of the month, but no one's doing anything because Mike Ashley doesn't want to do anything because he's leaving.
Yeah.
And then the new owners obviously can't do anything because they're not actually in charge yet. So
Absolutely. So everybody's stuck in kind of in the middle of it, stuck in the middle with nothing to do one way or another. It's awful for the players. It's awful. The guy I feel sorry for too is Steve Bruce. Because every 2 days there's another manager being mentioned, and Rafa Benitez is, Rafa's going to take over, Pochettino's going to take over, the guy who's in charge of Paris Saint-Germain's going to take over. I mean, if you're the manager and you've kind of waited all your life to get your home team club, it's a bit of a bitch to have all this going on in your front room.
Yeah, I think out of all the reports I've seen about managers, I've only seen one saying that they're going to back Steve Bruce till the end of the season at least.
Right.
And then give him another one if he proves himself.
Yeah, but it's not been a kind of season where you can judge anybody because it's been stoppy-starty, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not been great.
No, not at all. Also, things that grind your gears. What else does it for you then, Chris?
Well, obviously, being a truck driver, I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
So the things that grind my gears are just poor driving.
Right. Well, there's plenty of that about.
Like people not indicating at roundabouts and not staying in their lane, going round the roundabout. Because obviously, if you're a truck, you've got to take a slightly wider line around the roundabout.
Sure.
So if you've got your front right-hand corner of your truck on the dotted white line, because that's where it needs to be, so you don't take out all the barriers around the curve.
Yeah.
if someone in the car cuts across like as close as they can to the white line, then you're either going to hit them or you've got to slam the brakes on, sort of thing.
There's something else that I've seen that it's really common, and I really sympathise with you truck guys, because you'll be maybe heading uphill and there'll be a side road leading off, and somebody will be driving fast past you, and then they'll pull in right in front of you and then brake a little bit so they can merge, and you're going at a particular speed and you cannot slow down that quickly. But they've pulled in right in front of you. I don't know how you guys managed to avoid just crunking into the back of them.
Another thing, when you're going uphill and you've got a heavy load on, obviously the truck slows down itself just because of the effect of gravity.
Yeah.
So if someone like you say, overtakes you and then pulls in and brakes, if you have to then brake, then you lose all your momentum and drop down 2 or 3 more gears instead of keeping a steady momentum going up the hill, sort of thing.
Yeah, because you guys know what you're doing, and there's so many car drivers just genuinely. The quality of driving on the roads is just poor, frankly. It really is at the present moment.
It really is appalling. The amount of times that I shout and bawl and we can't read a highway code.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sure most of the people on the roads haven't read a highway code since they passed their driving test. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for me, and guilty as charged.
Yeah.
You try and do everything right, and if you've got a wife in the car, they're always very swift to tell you haven't switched your indicator, or you know the kind of things that happen to drivers and so. Hey, but great to hear from you, Chris. Where are you at the moment? Anywhere fancy?
I'm currently on the M25, Alan.
All right. Get home safe and sound, man. Take it easy. Thank you, Chris.
I've got a couple of songs, Alan, as well.
Oh, please. Toiletry tunes. Go for it.
Well, one of them has already been mentioned, The Ring of Fire.
Right.
Then we've got Engelbert Humperdinck's Please Release Me.
Right.
And there's one from Frozen as well, Let It Go.
Nice.
And then I had a nursery rhyme one, but I can't think of it.
No, it's gone. No worries. Stay well. Take it easy, Chris.
Cheers, Al.
Canny. Keep the white lines clean if you can. There you go, Chris the trucker. So for anybody that's driving around at the present moment, and for those of you watching on screen, because we will be pulling that plug very, very soon indeed, I shall dedicate this to you. And if you don't think this is a tune, oh, you got it so wrong.